about self-development and shit like that, because a lot of the times like people can invest energy into external resources and books, seminars, sessions, whatever it is, whoever you view as a mentor or whatever it is, right? Self-development at the end of the day, it's just all about becoming aware of your internal thoughts and feelings, of your own beliefs that can limit and block you from reaching a space in the outer world that you may not have dealt with something going on inside of you for you to reach that space, right? So a lot of times we can accumulate thoughts and feelings, stuff that get in our way, especially when it comes to dealing with the outer world, the external reality. The external reality that we present is based upon the internal reality that we have, our relationship with ourselves. A lot of people don't even have a good relationship with themselves. A lot of people have a relationship with their boss better than the relationship that they have with themselves. So their whole life is about, pleasing someone outside of them, pleasing their boss, whatever it is, making someone else happy rather than making themselves happy, because a lot of people are not aware of themselves. A lot of people are not aware of who they are. So, grow up and you have to ask yourself questions like, well, who am I? And blah, 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 and all that other crazy shit. But, it's just about learning yourself, going within, not going outside of you. Look how the whole world tells you, go read this book, go get this resource, go watch that mentor, blah, blah, blah. All these things are great. But at the end of the day, all these things should just point you back to your and help you become aware of, what internal program could I be running that may be preventing me from, reaching that space externally by first going inward, right? Because a person that lacks confidence, or a person that lacks the ability to express themselves in the world freely, well, there may be a thought, a subconscious process, some type of loop that they are lost in internally that prevents them from exuding whatever behavior that they want to play out outwardly, right? So when it comes to self-development, when it comes to developing yourself, developing your cells and stuff like that, right? You're just talking about becoming aware of what's happening subconsciously, unconsciously inside of you, right? And when you do the shadow work for that, that's like removing these things and allowing your spirit, allowing your subconscious, unconscious to have more space, to be more free, rather than, trapped into this one way of thinking and feeling, right? Because sometimes we spark thoughts and feelings, but we forget the starting point of those thoughts and feelings. A lot of the times, the thoughts and feelings, the A's and B's that we spark, are always based upon that subconscious, unconscious program that we may be running unknowingly. So until we do the shadow work, right, so we can uncover those things, kind of like excavating where you're like excavating certain shit, certain mass, so you can look at the beliefs, the energies that are hanging out inside of you that we create space for, right? Sometimes people can create space for negative shit. People can create space for negative thoughts, negative feelings, and house that and allow that shit to become an accumulation. So, when you're doing the shadow work, you're going to be aware of these internal faces, these that are kind of like stuck to you. The only reason these things are stuck to you is because we give these things energies and time. And the more we give these things energies and time throughout the day, the more these things are awareness. It's like, it can become like a cog in the machine, cog in the system, right? So you got to be able to unclog yourself. Where if you were to look at it from a biological perspective, when your lungs are clogged with mucus, you're not in the normal operations of your lung, which is breathing in and out. Now, if you want to like experience something, go into a circumstance and situation and shit like that with like a different angle, we almost have to like unclog what's going on within. A lot of subconscious, unconscious processes that are running behind the scenes that may kick in the moment someone wants to step into something that's not familiar to them, because the mind is always going to be conditioned to do what's to it, right? So it's this familiarity you want to get out of, right? Because that's why the Bible talk about like familiar spirits and shit like that, right? Because people are dealing with the same energies just through like a different person, place, or thing, but it's an energy that's going on within. So if you can do the shit work, if you can excavate and find out the name of that energy, right? It could be a lot of things, right? It could be laziness, shit. It could be like it could be a lot. You gotta really know yourself, and when you know yourself, you know how to fight and how to do yourself better. This way, when you're going throughout the day, you know this is the characteristics, this is the part of me that stops me from, okay, let me not give that shit as much time and energy and awareness, so that mind that I'm in normally, I don't create offspring thoughts and feelings off of that mind. Because if you were to look at your mind like an orb, if you're in that awareness, you're holding and you can't get out of it, all of your, circumstances and situations, thought, feelings, A and B's that you're going to spark is going to be offspring of that mentality. So until you deal with that subconscious, unconscious wiring, you may not be able to, experience something new, because your spirit is really just held hostage by this, man, what do you call it? Let's just say familiar spirit, for lack of a better word. Thoughts and feelings that are familiar to us, so we spark these things back up in order to live our lives and stuff like that. So when you're self-developing self, it's literally just shadow work. And when you do the shadow work, it's not just over then. You also have to maintain what you have built so far, right? You got to maintain maintenance over that internal keep. Because if you were to look at your body like the temple of God, like the Bible, how the Bible says, and it's housing a bunch of spirits and stuff like that, right? Then whatever bricks you build for yourself, whatever it is that you create for yourself internally, you're gonna have to maintain those things. Because if you allow those old thoughts and feelings to come back into you, right, it's gonna recreate that, jumping into that shit externally that should be normal, but because we're so invested into what's negative, it's so easy to be invested into your past, especially if you came from like a trauma-based path. I mean, fuck, I can't even talk, bro. Past and stuff like that, right? Because the mind can easily spark things, say, hey man, this happened to us when we was kids. We should think and feel like this. And here's the thing, right? That's like bringing your past into the present moment. And when you do that, you're triggering that chemical cycle. So you're using yourself to think and feel in certain ways that have nothing to do with the present moment. So it's kind of like you're blinding yourself from the present moment. You're not seeing what's going on clearly because the mind is too busy filtering out the information of the outer world based upon the program that the mind may still be adhering to and stuff like that. So you want to make sure you're aware of what you use your mind for. Because the more you become aware of what you use your mind for, then the more you can start to actively give less thought, feelings, less time and energy into that massive awareness that may be just, you're brewing. Because a lot of the times people are against themselves naturally, brew stuff in their mind about how shit is not going to go in their favor before they experience something, right? And a lot of the times people appraise the present based on the past, right? But the present moment has nothing to do with the past. You can bring the past with you to the present. The present is just the present, right? So a lot of negative shit could have happened to you, but at the same time, it has nothing to do with the present moment, right? And that would be like a person having balance and understanding, like, hey, okay, I have a bunch of thoughts and feelings, but I'm not feelings. And so you're able to redirect your awareness towards something. Sometimes, you got to practice nothingness on your mind and just actually let your mind be free enough so you can create space, because we're creating spaces. That's what because when you give your mind to nothingness, you're allowing your mind to be free of all those thoughts and feelings that usually create those rose-colored glasses that we view the world. So when you're practicing clairvoyance, when you're practicing clarity, you're creating the space of awareness within you that allows your mind to be clear. This way now you're looking at things from a clear perspective, rather than from a cluttered perspective, right? That's one of the benefits of practicing clairvoyance and just clearing your mind throughout the day, right? Because you don't want to be cluttered. When you're too cluttered, you can't see shit clearly, right? It's like having a cluttered room. When you have a cluttered room, you can't operate as efficiently. You can't operate as effectively, right? It's kind of like, you can look at it as a computer even, right? If your computer is too full of that you're not even using, let's just say in this example, thoughts and feelings that we keep bringing present and shit like that, then your operating system is not going to be as free to calculate what it has to deal with its most operation, right? Where our mind is so busy with all these different operations that ain't got nothing to do with what's going on right now, right? So that's the thing, man. It's all about just using your mind, not against you, but for you, right? Because when you're going in the process of self-development, you're becoming aware of the things that you put in front of you to stop yourself jumping into the shit that you say you want to jump into, right? So man, it's really interesting because you got a lot of the people in the industry that tell you, yeah man, read this book, or hey man, unfuck yourself. Like, all these titles are great, but all those are just talking about the same thing, right? Why is it that everyday people get in their own way to accomplish the things that they say they want to accomplish, right? It could be a belief that, hey, I can't do something, I don't know how. And it doesn't have to be a word, just be a feeling flowing through you, right? That's why self-awareness is important when you're doing shadow work and stuff like that. stuff like that, right? Because it doesn't have to be a word, feeling. It could be like, you know, something else that you're putting your energy into as a passion, as a desire, that's taking away your energy throughout the day. Because when you're living life throughout the day, you have like, you know, you can put your energy and put it in certain places, right? Now you have to do that with awareness, like a monk is walking and they're aware of what they're doing. They're aware of the mantras, the affirmations that they're running through their mind, so they can consciously create reality. Just like that, it's supposed to be consciously creating our reality. A lot of people are subconsciously, unconsciously creating their reality. And it's like, you know, you could be driving your car, you're trying to go forward, but your gear is in reverse. You're just fucking up everything. And it's like, people don't know why, what's going on. People don't know why they're so empowered to, you know, take on certain behaviors that don't actually create success, because they're so because it's like the mind is still invested so much energy into that. It might be hard to get off of that, because once it starts to be a cycle, and that's why a lot of old people, they have a really hard time like changing out of their habits, because they're too solidified, right? So the older you are and the more solidified you become, it's like the more difficult it becomes. But when people do it, it's just gonna be harder and harder, right? So if you know what you want to do with your mind, then I highly recommend you just start, you know, developing out of that shit, excavate that shit inside of you, and become aware of what's stopping, because it's already inside of you. Now it's just a matter of how do you deal with it. Now how you deal with it is by giving it less time and energy, less of your awareness. You take your awareness somewhere else, you invest your time somewhere else, right? But yeah, man, self-development is just not doing like shadow work and stuff like that, just becoming aware of internal facets of yourself, the subconscious, unconscious beliefs that are wired into you that they keep running. But the more you become aware of things, the more you can take your time and energy and invest that shit somewhere else. This way now you're actually, you know, adding things to your mind, adding things into your reality that actually, you know, lead to that circumstance, situation that you potentially want to experience, that ideal life. Like you can want a certain position at work, but if you don't believe that, you know, you're valuable enough, that sometimes it's just confidence. Sometimes people just lack confidence to have what they want. While a person may have the set of skills that are needed for that job position, but because of their confidence, they may get that job position. So it's like a lot of these things, it's just internal shit that's going on, where it's like, okay, if I use this energy at this time, I can get this. So it's just understanding. It's like playing cards. It's like literally a game of light. Like we're literally just manifesting light, awareness. There's times to be passionate and aggressive, fuck some shit up, go take what you want type of shit. There's times where you gotta relate to people. There's times where you gotta be an individual, be selfish and shit, right? The more you understand how to do these things, it's like now it's like you're doing some real conscious travel, like based upon actually being aware of what's going on outside of you and going on inside of you. I'm not saying I'm there, but I'm just saying like that's what I ideally would want to go. For me to get there, I got to get outside of all these thoughts and feelings, all these limiting beliefs that tell me like, nah, man, stay right here, bro. Shit is easier, you know? But yeah, that's it, man. I'm going to eat my lunch now and get back to work. Have some coconut water, get some fucking high. And yeah, with that being said, peace out, everybody. Peace.